Hey, welcome to Branded for Christ. We're so excited what God has in store for our church today. I am surrounded by a great panel today. I have Rusty, Paige, and Michaela. And today we're just going to dig into God's Word. The Bible teaches us this. It says that they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. Today we're all fighting the same battle. We're trying to get through this COVID-19 and just see God work in our lives. So today I'm just here just to visit and figure out what are we doing to get through this pandemic and get through this and live life, where God's called us to live. So Michaela, what's some things that's going on at your place?
Well, as far as a wife and kids go, I was talking to my sister-in-law the other day that this has been a really big, refreshing season. I know it's really hard and really bad for a lot of people, but at the same time, it's been a blessing in our lives to slow down, smell the roses, and just not have that constant to-do list in the back of my mind when I'm playing with my kids. And then if y'all don't know, myself and my husband are the youth pastors at Branded for Christ. So on the other side, so wife and kids aside, ministry side, this has been a whole new season of things that we've had to learn and overcome and be creative with. And so that has spiked up more than it's ever felt like before. It's not comfortable anymore. It's out of our comfort zone, but a good thing. So yeah, that's me.
That's great. So Paige, have you been able to get involved in the things that's going on through the online youth program?
Yes, so we're doing youth online now, and we normally have it around 7, but we bumped it back to 8 because everybody's been so busy being quarantined now. And so it's on Instagram and Facebook, and we all normally jump on, and people will be having conversations throughout the live, and then we all have our meetings after, and we all get to chat and update each other on what we're doing. So it's been pretty good. We get to stay in touch still while still connecting with God. So.
Yeah, we love to see the kids on there. They're joking back and forth, and it makes us feel that we're still all together. We still get to talk and communicate. And it's almost like we're on summer schedule.
Yeah.
Our kids are outside roping and riding and playing. So we had 6:30, and they're rushing in from their chores just to get on. So we bumped it back to 8, and it's been working good.
Even like the parents, I know, like other youth kids, parents will jump on and you'll see other kids be like, hey, and just because they're like all of our moms, so
yeah.
we all talk to
Yeah.
them just like they're our
I know.
moms. So I know, like I was on the other day and one of them was talking to Dee Dee, and so it was just talking to everybody that you normally get to talk to and you don't get to anymore. So.
I know. I think it's given some other people a glimpse in a little bit on what's going on.
It has given a glimpse in. I mean, I didn't know what went on, and I'll hear them get on their phones, and whether we're in the car or we're back here, and some of the questions you guys, I hear Garrett preach. I won't listen and sit there the whole time, but I'll hear Garrett preach, and then I'll hear. I've heard you ask the girls questions, and they've all really gotten involved. So that, from a dad aspect, that really, said, wow, the kids are really involved, and they love doing it. They love Wednesdays, and they love being part of it. Now, when you move back to 8:30, I'm already going to bed, but it's been fun.
Yeah, for sure. I guess going to bed at 8:30, is that just part of just this business routine you're in, or what?
Just going to watch some TV, but usually when I start watching a little bit of TV, I fall asleep in about 5 minutes. So, But, I've been getting up early. Business has been a little tougher these days.
A little tougher. So what's going on? I mean, how's this, the being quarantined and all this, how's it affected you as in business, and, what we're going to do to move forward?
Well, I call it the good, the bad, the ugly, and we'll start with the ugly. I definitely need a haircut.
Right.
And I can't find any place to cut hair. I even asked one lady, I said, you do any black market haircuts? And she said, no, my son's been sick, so I better not, I asked my wife if I could shave my head, and she says, absolutely not. So that's the ugly. The bad is trying to keep, it gets a little stressful at work. I run 38 to 40 men and women, and they all have families, and it breaks my heart. My goal as a business owner has always been, give them 40 hours, and be stable with the 40 hours a week, and not 60, not 30, but be a stable 40 hours. And it's been really rough. When I go through my list, our daily log, and we're off because of coronavirus, off. And so that hits me really hard. And I'm at peace with myself and my family, but I don't think a lot of them have the luxury of the Lord. I try to instill that in them, but young families, they don't have the wisdom yet to get through some of these things. So that part's really hard. And but the good is I spend a lot of quality family time, more than my kids would like me to. My office is actually starting to get clean, and maybe my daughters can give a testimony of that. And and when I say clean, it's you never seen a messy office. It's not mine. But so the good part is spending family time. I've seen Paige at the bank quite often. I wave because we can't allowed to go in the bank, so I have to wave on the outside.
Right.
And I start doing, you want to rope tonight? What?
He goes to rope tonight, 4 o'clock.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so.
That's awesome. So how do you see moving forward, as things begin to open up? And, do we have any kind of goals we're putting in plan and things we're going to do as things do begin to open?
Well, as things begin to open, business-wise, we're seeing contracts fall off, canceled for the year, which that's all right. We're slowing down enough. I can keep my guys busy, but they're just getting postponed to next year. Right. So that's one thing. For the family life, we enjoy not rodeoing every weekend. Now we'd love to go to a rodeo at this point. We're thinking of creative ways to, hold a rodeo or do something. We enjoy practicing.
Right.
My daughter Emma, she loves to motocross now. She's been, I taught her how to ride a bike, but then like 3 weeks later, she's like, Dad, it's 1 down, 4 up. She's trying to teach me. And I'm like, oh, thank you, honey.
There you go.
But we'll probably slow it down a bit. I don't want to take up everybody's time, but we'll probably slow it down a bit and just spend a little more family time at home.
So you think bringing it home's kind of made you do some refocusing on how we spend our time? I know myself, it's been great. The honey-do list has been getting done. I've done a lot of things that I've put off just because we're always busy and always on the road. So, and I've seen how that's really been a blessing to my wife and my kids, doing some things that I've normally been too busy for. So I really see tuning it back a little bit. It's going to be beneficial down the road.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's the same way with us too. Going every single weekend was a lot, and then just all of a sudden stopping, everything just is dead. And so I know for us, my siblings and I have grown closer together more than we ever have. We've been locked up in the house, or not in the house actually. We've spent less time in the house, I think, now that we're in quarantine than we were before. We've been outside more than ever, but lots of late nights and early mornings. But we've had to grow closer together because we're the only ones we're allowed to see, so we might as well make the best of it.
That's great.
We've grown real close, and everybody kind of helps each other out a little bit more now that we know that we're all we got. So that's been really good for us, just getting closer. And now that we're getting a little bit older, it's a lot more fun.
Yeah, for sure.
And so,
no, that's been a great thing for our family. All the kids, for the most part, they're really getting along.
Yeah.
More than they normally would. Tammy, my wife, she says, oh my gosh, there's so much rain in the forecast. She gets real stressed out about that because she can't kick them outside.
Right.
And my honey-do list is, I feel like FedEx now, 2-day turnaround.
2-day turnaround.
Maybe overnight,
Yeah.
So.
For sure. Well, that's awesome. So, Michaela, earlier you was talking about, how you're using this as a time for kids to sharpen each other, and you're leader. So, how's that going for you?
Yeah, so when we were thinking about, how do we go through this quarantine and not put our youth ministry, our kids at youth and at school aside, I was thinking about Proverbs 27:17. It says, as iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. And even in quarantine, I know that our kids, they don't always get along with their brother and sister or their parents, and they're going to need some advice, and they're going to need some advice to just how do we stay busy, keep our mind active. So we started doing our lives on Facebook, which she was talking about earlier, Facebook and Instagram. But then we even started doing devotionals twice a week where our other leaders get to lead a devotional and get kids involved that way. We've done a couple of Zoom game nights, which have been really fun. And I was surprised. That's new to us, but I don't think it was as new to our kids. Right. They're pretty on top of that stuff. So Man, I can really see us taking some of that and continuing to do that after this is over. Just a way to be face to face with people, even when we don't have the capability of driving for an hour in an evening. We can see them face to face, joke, laugh, and you can see when you're counseling kids or people, like, the expressions on their faces mean a lot.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
being able to do that and learning how has been really cool.
Yeah, that's really neat. One of the things is too, whenever looking at scriptures, and I'm thinking here how you're keeping your kids directly going God's way, and we're talking about the righteous and in training up leaders in our church and seeing our church in this pandemic and a time of being quarantined. I really see people stepping up and actually becoming stronger leaders in the church. So when we do come together, I think it's going to actually take our church and elevate it. The Bible says, yet the righteous will hold to his way, and he who has clean hands will be stronger and stronger. And that's what I see as we're coming together. Although we're in quarantine or separated a lot of times, physically, I see our church getting stronger. I see righteousness just rising up in families. I see our families turning to the things of God and not turning to the things of the world. And I really believe that we're going to come out of this, pandemic and this quarantine a lot stronger than we went into it.
Oh, absolutely. We be a lot stronger family and as a church. I mean, the drive-in church,
Oh my God.
I don't think you could ask for a better outcome or better planning. It had such a cool vibe. The music and the worship and it gives me goosebumps. Just everybody coming in was happy, honking the horns. It was amazing. I mean, it really, like I told Tammy, I wanted to do Tammy McCarthy, Mick Tammy. We have 2 Tammys at the church, so right. I would like to do an outdoor church driving like that again. I mean, that was super fun.
I think so. I think we're planning on one this coming Sunday, weather permitting. So anyway, but I think that's going to be great. I saw so much joy of people. And I think, sometimes you've heard that saying is you don't know what you have until you don't have it anymore, until you lost it. And having the freedom to come to church and hug necks and shake hands and just spend time together, it was so common that I don't realize we didn't realize how great we had it. And now, man, just getting to see people come across that cattle guard, it just touched my heart because of the smiles and just the families and just how many families we at Branded for Christ have touched. It's just been amazing. It's just been such a team that God has put together, there to reach the lost, and to take families and just love each other. And I'm just can't be more thrilled to where we're at. Can't wait to we can come back and worship fully in church. Yeah. But right now, I'm excited what God's doing in our homes.
It is so different and so out of the box that everybody's getting creative. I mean, like those Zoom play nights. I'm like, what are they doing now?
Running all over the house.
Yeah, they're literally running over the house. I'm like, what is going on? And they're like, Dad, we'll tell you later,
Yeah.
I'm like, who are they on with? What kind of friends are those? That's church. Oh, okay. That's fine.
Tammy and I was washing dishes of all things the other day. Suddenly runs around the corner of the kitchen, says, Mom, love you, and runs out. I was like, well, that was weird. Trying to find out, I guess, from one of their games, they had to go tell their mom or tell somebody they love them or something, So, be creative. Mom feels good, Daughters winning the contest, So that was really, really good, So, anyway, so Paige, I know this is your senior year. I know you might feel like, man, I've missed out on some things, but, how is it?
It's been a change, for sure. We had I guess the end of the year was kind of getting fun for once. All the hard stuff was done. We were kind of getting to relax a little bit, and so things were starting to settle down. So we kind of got excited, and then just about the time when spring break comes, and after spring break it's like downhill slope. So after that you're like, let's go get this diploma. And then spring break didn't end, and so we're now learning online, and so everything that we've planned for, I was a class officer for this year, and everything that we had planned, our senior trip, prom, graduation, all that's been, it's just up in the air. We were supposed to have prom May 9th, and at this point, we probably won't end up having that. And that was for our prom, and then senior trip, we had like paintballing and Top Golf. Like we were going, it was going to be fun, and we were going to get out of school, so that was a big thing. And now that probably won't happen either, and if it does, it won't happen till in the summer. And so after that, you know, like families start taking vacations, and you're gone a lot, and people make plans for the summer, and so everything's just kind of died down. There's not really an ending to your senior year, so that's been kind of sad, and not seeing my friends that I've been looking forward to kind of seeing every day. Right. So that's been a quick change. You know, everybody says you'll miss them when you leave, even though you might not want to see them every day while you're in high school. But not getting to see them has been different. I mean, I've actually kind of missed some of them. So I missed a lot of the laughs too. We have the best time in some of our classes, especially taking dual credit classes. We have more electives if we take our dual credit classes, and so when we're in those electives, it gets pretty funny.
Yeah.
So I've missed those laughs. Those have been good, but other than that, just adjusting, getting a job, keeping my eyes focused on the Lord, and not being able to focus on the negatives of not being able to do those things like prom and senior trip and maybe even graduation at this point. So just keeping my eyes focused on the positives and that's going to come out of this, and the people that are going to grow close together, and the people that are going to turn to God because they know that He's the only one that's going to get us through this. So I think just, focusing on the things that are truly what matters at this point.
Well, I think this whole thing has been, this whole COVID thing, that's been the great equalizer. Mm-hmm. Your senior senior year, my son's walking, he's graduating college, all these different effects, the Olympians that want to go, do the Olympians, the college national final rodeos. I mean, can you imagine being a senior and you can't go and you qualified,
Exactly.
We don't know what's going to happen to state or junior high. So all these things, it's been the equalizer. Everybody's kind of lost something, part. And I know there's a great meaning to that someplace and somewhere. So, we'll all find it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Michaela, Paige was talking about being disconnected from her friends and stuff. I think about you being a young mom, having a husband that's an entrepreneur, out being a self-employed guy, but yet you being a teacher at Brandon for Christ Academy. I know y'all women, y'all encourage each other, y'all spur each other up. Hey, you can do this as a wife or as a mom or whatever it might be. So, I mean, what are you doing to replace that to make sure that you're staying, tuned up,
Yeah. Well, I can be a pretty big homebody. Like, I can get home and just kind of get consumed with my kids and my family, which is fine when I see my friends and my church family, like, every day almost.
Right.
But now I've had to kind of be more intentional with those relationships, because I might not do it naturally, but I need it. Mm-hmm. I need that community. I need my friends. I need to be able to, just let my hair down a little bit. And I've hopped on some of the college game nights. I said, hey, Garrett, I'm going to go play bingo. And and I played bingo with some of the college kids, and that was fun to just get, I love my kids, but I still need space too.
For sure.
And so have that community there, and just, it's really about reaching out on your phone, being intentional, not waiting till the next time you see them, because you won't,
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, calling Kinley and talking to her. Kaylee has been a huge part, getting those conversations in on the phone. So just being intentional is really because I'm not naturally that way. So I've had to really up my game doing that.
That's something, that word being intentional, I think is something we all really need to get a hold to, because really it's easy to fall away from church. It's really easy to fall away from friends, because if you're not intentional, who's going to stop and tune in on a Facebook Live? Who's going to stop and tune in on a youth night? Who's going to stop in? Our alternative is having great bingo and fun nights to keep those kids connected. But if you're not intentionally stopping and making time for that, you can really just fall away from those things that God has in your life. So I think that's the word of the day, just being intentional. Something we, whether it's a business owner, a high school student, a mom or a coach or whatever it is, being intentional is something I think we need to carry forward. Well, guys, hey, man, it's happened fast. We are so thankful that you guys tuned in today, and I'm thrilled to have our panel here. And, this year we're going to keep God first in our life. We're going to keep God just the forefront of our minds. So I'm just going to encourage you right now, if you're having a tough time, there's something that we can do here at Brandon for Christ. Maybe you have a young high school kid that's having trouble, and your kid needs some help, and maybe you're saying, I don't know where to turn to. We here at Branded for Christ are here to help you. Call us, text us, message us on Facebook, whatever you can do to reach out to us. We're here. Maybe you're stressed about your marriage because you and your husband haven't spent this much time together, for years. And you just said, I need some help. We are here to help you. Just don't feel like you're in this battle alone. And here's what I'm going to tell you. We will overcome. The Bible tells us that. And if it wasn't so, he wouldn't have told us. So until we get to see you guys again, we love y'all and thank you so much for tuning in.